Greetings, fellow action figure connoisseurs, and welcome to another episode of Digital Caveman Presents Star Wars Wednesday. I, as always, am your host, the Digital Caveman, and today I will be presenting you with the Target exclusive Star Wars The Black Series Cobb Vanth and Cad Bane 2-pack. Let's get into it! Let's start gunfighting in the streets of Tatooine at high noon with a look at the packaging. I don't think I'd go outside at high noon on Tatooine. But anyway, on the top, there's really nothing, just a hook up here, some tape. And then I'm going to fumble with the package. On the front, Star Wars The Black Series, nice digital renders of Cobb and Cad. Star Wars The Book of Boba Fett. Cobb Vanth and Cad Bane. Warning, no stick things in your pie hole that do not belong there. 4-and-up Hasbro print plastic free packaging. Except tape and glue. Then on the bottom we have a barcode. Small fine legalese print. Made in China print. Symbols I'm not going to learn. And I already said a barcode. Then on this side we have nice digital renders of the figures and their accessories. And it tells you that Cad Bane is 6 inches exactly tall. That's 15.2 centimeters. And all the same 6 inches tall for Cobb as well. So 15.2 centimeters as well. And just in case you forgot from when we talked about it earlier, plastic free packaging. Except tape and glue. And then recycle the stuff. And let's see. This side, we have artwork of Cobb and Cad. I have to say, it's pretty nice artwork. Of course, they usually do have nice packaging artwork over at Hasbro, for the most part. Star Wars The Black Series, Cobb Vanth and Cad Bane. And then there's a nice digital render of the figures. Same from the front. Spare no expense on the packaging, I suppose. Cobb Vanth and Cad Bane, the Marshal of Mos Pelgos on Tatooine. Cobb Vanth is a trustworthy leader. Bounty hunter Cad Bane visits him on behalf of the Pike Syndicate, leading to a faithful confrontation. And spoiler alert, I'm not going to tell you what happens. So anyway, we have the stripe here. It did continue around from the front, just not at an upward angle, and it got covered up by this plastic-free packaging stuff. And then Star Wars, Book of Boba Fett, but it's also the platform that they're standing on. What? Warning, attention, Octoon, no stick things in your pie hole that do not belong there. Don't give it to babies. Attention, especially don't stick it in your French pie hole. And includes 2 figures and 6 accessories. Also, it's still made in China print, and Disney print, and Hasbro print, and that, my friends, is a look at the packaging. Let's take a look at the figures and the accessories. And first of all, let's take a look at the accessory. We have handy dandy tweezers here. And Cobb Vanth certainly gets the short end of the stick in this 2-pack, because all he gets is his blaster pistol. And that's it. Cad Bane comes with this flame effect, and here's where it connects, and it's got some nice paint apps on it. So that's kind of cool. And of course he comes with his signature twin blasters. Of course they're different from the ones that the Clone Wars figure came with, because this is the more realistic style, where that is the more cartoon style, even though it's the Clone Wars Cad Bane is a blend of the animation and realism. So, nice paint apps on the pistols there. Also comes with 2 blast effects, and unfortunately they only fit Cad Bane's blasters. And then, of course, we have Cad Bane's hat, which has a much smaller brim than the Clone Wars version, again, because that figure is a blend of the animation and realism, where it tends to lean more toward the realism. Now let's take a look at Cobb Vanth. And I have to say, I do think this is a really good head sculpt, and it looks a whole lot like Timothy Oliphant. And I really, really like it. It doesn't seem to be real shiny either, like most of the figures that have the face printing technology. There is some wash in his hair and beard, just to add some detail to it, and some of that gray that he had in the show. This scarf is a separate piece, and if you don't want it on here, you can pop the head off and it'll come off pretty easily. It doesn't fit over the head, so there is that. The torso and arms all molded in color, along with the scarf molded in color as well. The only paint app, actually it's not a paint app because the neck is separate from the torso and the head. And then no cut where the chest and the abdomen meet, just here at the waist. And then got a few paint apps, some on the belt here, some right here on the pants is silver, and then this, and nothing really going on in the back. The hands molded in this color, I'm sure, and this part is the paint. And wow, look at those gloves. They look like mechanics gloves. I have a pair that look almost just like that, except they have the fingers in their entirety. And then, oh, I missed this little paint app here, and then paint app for the belt. And then he's got a little hook here, but didn't come with anything to hook into it. Now let's take a look at his articulation real quick. He can look up that high. He can look down that far. He's got some chicken neck for those late night Tatooine parties. He's got plenty of waggle in there due to the joint here and at the base of the neck as well. He can do the full exorcist. At the shoulder, disappointing that he doesn't have any butterfly in there. But he can raise his arm up approximately 90 degrees. It will spin 360 degrees. Hinge and swivel at the elbow, single hinge. It does spin around 360 degrees and will give you slightly better than 90 degrees of bend, 360 degree rotation at the wrist on an in and out hinge. And then the other side is a trigger finger hand, so it is on an up and down hinge. So that's cool. And then again here we have the cut at the waist, and it's on a ball joint. So he gets some hula going on in there. He can lean to the left, he can lean to the right. He can lean forward that far and back that far. So just for that one joint, it's not too bad. It does have a pretty good range of motion there. At the hips, he can give you that much of the splits. And Cad's blurring things up, so let's move him out of the way for a minute. Should have done that earlier. He can kick forward. Well, this part of the leg is approximately 90 degrees, and then it bends down a little bit at the knee. So he can kick forward that far. Back, 0. he has butt block. There's a cut here where at the upper thigh, and it will give you a full 360 degrees of rotation. Single hinge and swivel at the knee, and it swivels around a full 360 degrees and gives you just slightly better than 90 degrees of bend. At the ankle, down that far, tilts down that far, tilts up that far, and forward facing pin for rocker. And something I forgot to mention, you can see on his boots there, it's either really worn or really dusty, that paint app. So let's go ahead and show the storage for his weapon. Of course, he can hold it in his hand, and he has this gun belt with the holster. The belt is not really secure. It moves all around, and you can see it's got no tie down here, but the gun does stay in place. So there we have our look at Cobb Vanth. Now let's take a look at Cad Bane, and I'll have to say the face in the show, just like this one, is a little smushed or squattier than its animation or the Clone Wars figure. So there is that, and I can't really see any reuse from that Clone Wars figure. Now there may be some reuse from the Bad Batch version of the character. I don't have that one, so I can't really tell you, but I can definitely tell you it's not the head. And then we've got these wires coming out, and you know, we've got this nice silver paint app over half of his skull here, and he's got some nice paint app there for the eyes that it makes it look like they're glowing, and some paint apps here and here for the hose, and then a little bit here on the chest, on the belt here, on the gun belt, and then around the top of the boots. And that seems to be it for the, well, paint apps here on the forearm, gauntlets, and then looks like the fingertips are paint apps. So, and I will say throughout, it's a nice sculpted figure, and you know, the bullet belt here is the ammo belt. That's new. Well, I mean, this whole thing is probably new, but differences in the other figure. I don't think he had an ammo belt here, and he did not have ammo belts at the top of his boots. If anybody remembers from the Clone Wars, he had some like rocket jet boosters on the sides of his boots that he could fly around with. Stole that from Iron Man. So let's take a look at his articulation. He can look up that high, and his neck, it looks like it's on a dumbbell, and the neck is a separate piece from the head and the torso. But he looks up that high. He can look down that low. He's got some chicken neck. He cannot do the full exorcist due to these hoses, but it can twist around that far and then again that far. At the shoulder, I do believe there's a little bit of butterfly in there. There is. There's the joint right there. So with this overlay on, it hampers it a little bit, but the butterfly will go back that far and it will go forward that far. Single hinged elbow, and it has a swivel in it, 360 degrees worth of swivel. And as far as bend goes, not quite 90 degrees. And then nothing in here. At the wrist, 360 degree rotation on an up and down hinge, because it's a trigger finger hand, and up and down hinge on this trigger finger hand as well. Now this arm probably won't swivel around the full 360 because you see there's a hose and it's connected. So that will hamper things. Nothing here in the torso until you get to the waist, and it's got that same ball that Cobb had, and he can do the hula. He can lean left and right. With the overlay, he can lean back that far and forward that far. So there's not a whole lot of leaning forward and backwards going on. Now here's the gun belt. It is glued into place up here and here. So with that said, the mold allows, these aren't really hampering it. The mold allows for that much of the splits, kicking forward approximately 90 degrees, back. Let's see, he's with a little bit of outswing, not much. Get about 3 steps maybe. There is no swivel in the thigh at the hip joint there. It's on a ball or a dumbbell, and it will twist a little bit, but it doesn't really rotate. Single hinged hinge and swivel at the knee. It does swivel around 360 degrees, and it will give you better than 90 degrees worth of bend. And let's see, at the mid shin or the top of the boot, there is a boot cut, and it does swivel 360 degrees. At the ankles, down that far, tilts down that far, tilts up that far, and it does have forward facing pin for rocker. Now, let's take a look at his accessories just a little bit, or at least how they work together. Here's the blast effects. Here's the blaster. You can see there's a port in the end of the blaster barrel, and if you look in here, it does kind of tell you how to line it up, because it's got this piece on it. So you could probably force it either way, but it's supposed to only go one way. So that's how that works, and that works that way on both pistols. And as far as the pistols go, they do store in his holsters. It's kind of hard to get the guns in the holsters with the overlay in the way, but it can be done, and they fit in there really securely. They don't snap or anything into place, but due to friction, they are not going to come out. So there's that. Now his flamethrower effect, it does have that little slot right there, and surprisingly it has a slot over here, and you can see at the back end of it, it does have a 90 degree peg, or the peg is 90 degrees from the rest of the effect, and it will fit in this side, or it will fit in, quit rotating, it will fit in this side. So unfortunately, I would really have liked for this to come with 2 of these, so you could be shooting fire out of either hand at the same time. And then for our final accessory, his hat, and as far as that goes, you just slide it on his head. There you go. And that, my friends, is a look at the figures and their accessories. It's time for my favorite part of a review, comparisons. And here we have the Target 2-pack of Cobb Vanth and Cad Bane, followed by, from another Target 2-pack, from the Din Djarin and Grogu 2-pack, Din Djarin. Then the fully armored Boba Fett from the Book of Boba Fett. And from the Clone Wars, Cad Bane. For our final set of comparisons, here we have the Target exclusive Star Wars The Black Series Cobb Vanth and Cad Bane 2-pack, with from the Marvel Legends series making his cameo appearance, Stan the Man Lee. From G.I. Joe Classified series, the Hasbro Pulse exclusive Regal variant Cobra Commander. From Star Wars The Black Series, the Archive Edition 501st Legion Clone Trooper. And for a 7-inch comparison from the Masters of the Universe Masterverse line, the 40th Anniversary He-Man. For final thoughts on the Star Wars The Black Series, Target exclusive Book of Boba Fett 2-pack of Cobb Vanth and Cad Bane, I have to say I really like this 2-pack. I may not be the biggest fan of the Book of Boba Fett, but that doesn't mean that the figures don't look cool and I can make my own headcanon. But as far as these two go, I mean, if they're not exactly spot on to the actors, they're pretty darn close. And this really, since Cobb Vanth first appeared in The Mandalorian, this is the version that I've been waiting on. I almost got the one wearing the Boba Fett armor, but knowing that wasn't going to really be his traditional, so to speak, look, I waited until they offered one that I thought would be more of a traditional look for him, which is, you know, this look. No armor. And, you know, this 2-pack, it really evokes that old Western feeling, you know, two gunslingers facing off. And I know that's what it was supposed to do. But it really does that for me. I look at this set spinning around here and I'm, you know, I hear tunes like The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly playing because I feel like that's the theme that, you know, should be playing when these two guys are facing off with each other. But again, as far as the figures go, I think they're really close to their real-life counterparts. And I really like the way that they look. And I guess that does it for the review. I hope that you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it. Only support from viewers like you make this programming possible. Each view does count, and I do appreciate each and every single view that I receive. Thank you, and thank you so very much for supporting this channel through viewing. Comment below, like, share, subscribe if you'd like to see more reviews or just help the channel out further. Or both, that's even better. And don't forget to ding that bell so that in the future you will be notified as my new content becomes available. That's a wrap, folks. I'll see you next time.